I look at certain religious figures in history, I look at philosophers in history, I look at others in history, and I think, hey, they brought some really nice things. When I look at the teachings of Jesus, I think, hey, he brought some very, very nice things, especially his whole speech after saying that he comes to affirm the law, and then he goes on with, you were told, love your neighbors and hate your enemies, but I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. And that whole speech, for example, is like, it is brilliant to me. And I can say that while I do not believe that he is truly God or the Son of God, and while I do not believe that that God exists, I can appreciate this, and I can admit that this happens. What I can simply not acknowledge is this ridiculously absurd, ridiculously stupid idea that this figure, Jesus Christ, was just some guy who was just telling those people in Israel, hey guys, worship one God. Hey guys, let's worship Allah. Hey guys, please stop believing in false things. Let's worship Allah. And therefore, Jesus was only a Muslim. Mm-hmm. And yeah, he was just a Muslim. That's it. That's all he was. That's just a ridiculously dumb claim. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's the great irony here is Muslims are going around, when they put up Jesus was a Muslim, they claim that they have a better picture of Jesus than everyone else. And yet something that, I love to point out is that if Jesus was a Muslim prophet, he was the most epic failure in the history of prophets. Right? I mean, if the Islamic picture of Jesus is correct, Jesus was the worst communicator ever in history, in spite of Allah giving him all these miraculous feats that no one else had. I mean, Jesus is born of a virgin. Jesus performs all kinds of miracles, raising the dead, cleansing lepers, and so on. Jesus is the Messiah. He's called the Word of Allah and a spirit from Allah. It's all these amazing things. And you say, what did he do with it? What did he accomplish? And well, I mean, by the end of the first century, there were two categories of people. There were people who rejected him as a false prophet and a false Messiah. According to Islam, they're going to hell for rejecting a prophet. And two, there was people who believed in him. They're bowing down and worshiping him and calling him the divine Son of God who died on the cross for their sins and rose from the dead. They're all going to hell for shirk. So the only people left after Jesus comes are all people who are going to hell. Mm-hmm. On what planet was this guy remotely successful? And what's amazing is you ask the people, who are rejecting him, hey, why are you rejecting him? It's, he said all this blasphemous stuff. We had to reject him. Wait a minute. So he's saying all this blasphemous stuff that goes against the pure monotheism that Islam would espouse. Okay, so the people who are rejecting him, they're rejecting him because he's saying all this somehow horribly blasphemous stuff. And you ask the people who believe in him, hey, people who believe in Jesus, why are you bowing down and worshiping him as the divine Son of God? Because he claimed to be this divine Son of God, and then he verified it with his miracles and by rising from the dead. So that's why we believe in him. So wait a minute. Jesus is saying all of this stuff, which according to Islam, everyone must be misinterpreting, right? He's just saying, believe in God. They're somehow hearing this as bow down and worship me, right? And then some people are going, what? How are we going to bow down and worship you? You're just a man. You blasphemer. You can't be the true Messiah. And the other people are saying, well, if he's the one who rose from the dead, I guess I'll bow down and worship him. So this is all, the Islamic view is that this is all based on a misunderstanding. And Jesus is just a horrible communicator. And you can understand why Muslims would want to take that route, because that's what they do with Allah and with Muhammad. Why does Allah keep saying all these horrible things, fight those who do not believe, when he really means just fight in self-defense? He's just a terrible communicator, right? Why does Muhammad say all these things about beating women into submission and chopping the heads off, people for leaving Islam stuff, when he really doesn't mean any of that? Oh, Muhammad's just a horrible communicator. What did he really mean? Well, he meant what, this 21st century westernized Muslim means. And so you already believe that your God is a horrible communicator. Your prophet's a horrible communicator. Of course, you'd believe that Jesus was a horrible communicator who led everyone astray with his horribly unclear speech. But at the end of the day, Muslims, according to you, what did Jesus accomplish? Oh, he went out and preached. Oh yeah, what did he accomplish? None of it lasted. The only people who the only people who were left were people who rejected him or people who believed in him as the divine Son of God. There were no Muslim followers who lasted.